Happy
Hi.
Sunday. It is Sunday.
It is Sunday, not our typical recording day.
Oh, and it's gloomy here and kind of gray, and spring is trying to show up. So it's a perfect day for us to talk about how exciting life has been,
Yes,
particularly in the last 48 hours.
it's so true. Well, you are having spring trying to push through. It's like spring training happening in your neck of the woods. Our spring
It's
is here, girl. We were
oh,
in the yard this morning. We were out back just fighting it because cutting Cyrus had the machetes chopping down bamboo and I mean our stuff is like thriving right now after the hurricane season we had. Now it's all coming to life.
you can't tell me Cyrus and Machete without me having a visual in my head about him only wearing cheetah shorts, just in his underwear and
Yeah.
barefoot out there with a machete.
It was close. He did have shoes on because there was some rough, but the cheetah shorts came out yesterday. We will definitely get into that.
We're gonna talk about yes, how do we motivate each other to head outside and run around in front of the neighbors in just
Yep.
our cheetah shorts? We're gonna talk about that today.
Yeah.
Motivation, community, having fun, and how to do a birthday the right way.
Yeah. All the things. I mean, really, we are, I think this spring is such a great time to talk about activity, movement. How do we get our bodies going? The days are warming up. We're able to get outside again if you've been in a cold place and it feels good to be outside and get some fresh air and some sunshine. But
Mhm.
also the idea of having purposeful movement and making it fun. And that is when you have strategies for that in your life and you can do that consistently, that there is nothing better than that to make it really
It
fun.
sounds like we're talking about the birds and the bees, doesn't it, Kylie?
A little bit. What spring is all about.
Exactly. Yeah, it's up here in the north. I mean, it just takes one more hour of daylight for us to be like, yes, jackets off.
Yeah,
Let's get
right.
out and do the thing. And
Yeah.
it really does change the mood of
Yeah.
things.
For
Like I
sure.
can tell you, at the gym last or just a couple days ago on Friday, with this being Sunday, is it got nicer out here. All of a sudden, we had this really warm day before we were going to have kind of a stormy weekend. And I know, oh man, my regulars that come to cycling class are just going to start to thin out. And
Yeah.
it was a smaller group than the usual, but I've connected enough with the folks that do show up that we had fun in there. And it was like, guys, we have 45 minutes. Let's just work hard, get our sweat on. We laughed a bit. We did some storytelling and we found out, funny things that people are, what was your week like? Give me a word for your week. I often ask for. So it was a different dynamic just because it's a little bit brighter, a little bit warmer, and that's all it takes for us Northerners. Just, lighten up a little bit. Yeah, the birds and the bees.
Yeah, seriously. That's awesome. That's so great. And you're so I mean, to have the opportunity to be so motivating and inspiring for people that you're holding space for as you're leading them through fitness, which is hard. I mean, it's hard work to get your heart pumping and to breathe heavy and make your, on a spin bike or, these aren't easy things. So the fact that you can, have that camaraderie and fun and laughter and I love that. That's one of the things I love about group fitness for sure.
Yes. It says something about how do we show up for each other. There are lessons in life in this. So for anyone listening, if that resonates in a few different ways, the thing about it is I had a really busy week. I had to people a lot. And I mean that people a lot, meaning I had to give a lot of energy. I had to meet with a lot of people. I had more clients than I have had in a while, kind of accumulating over the course of the week. And I had 4 people to talk with in a row, which is a lot when you've just got to run to the bathroom and come right back. And before I knew it, I had to get ready to go teach, and I was really tired when I got there. It just, basically it's really close. I roll down the hill and I'm at the gym from where I live. But I walked in and I thought, I've got to shift my mind. How am I going to shift myself right now? And it can be really tricky to do this. And that is also the golden time of the day when people leave work and they either bail on their workout or they go to happy hour or they're like, I'm going home because I'm tired. And I tell you that that is the golden opportunity. That is the hour of opportunity. Are you gonna bail on you or do you have other people to show up for? So when you have other people to show up for, that in itself, when I saw people that I hey Sherry, how you doing? Walking into class, that helped me to kind of feel like, hold on, I got to pick this up. I got to find my energy. I got to start digging in. I have to host this party.
Yeah.
How am I going to wake up a little bit. And for anybody, if you guys were listening to our latest episode with Miss Fabulous, Fantastic, Amazing Brenda Davis, you heard her talk about the importance of showing up for her community.
Yeah.
So
I
yesterday,
love that. And that was one of my favorite parts of the conversation because, she was sharing that here she is in her 60s and she's got this, vital group of women that she works out with. They go and celebrate birthdays together. And I think that's a really good reason to go, connect with people, to go to like a group fitness class, go to your local gym, go to your local Y. We joined a new gym. I've talked about it a couple times already, over a year ago, and I've already started making friends there. I'm like, "Oh, I can call them up and be like, 'Hey, you wanna go to that class together?'" Or, and it does. The mindset, to your point, that mindset shift and having that moment to take a breath and remind yourself that this is still important, even though I'm tired at the end of the day, even though I've had to people all day or my day got busier than I was expecting. That mindset, that choice, that moment, right, is so valuable. Whether it comes to your fitness opportunities that you might have in the afternoon or evening, or your food choices. If you were planning on eating something and then you're like, I don't feel like doing this. I don't feel like, those you're saying like kind of like the golden hour. It's crucial when it comes to decision fatigue. That's a term, that's a real thing, and when you've been busy all day working with people and talking to people and doing things, sometimes there's not enough energy left to make the choice that you were the healthiest choice, right? So taking that moment to kind of reframe, what is your purpose? What is the goal? Why are you doing this? Can be so, reconstructive, like it kind of like reframes, resets,
yeah, the
and
reframe, I love that word. I have a client who I realized that when you leave one environment, like your job or even your home if you work from home, when you leave one environment, there's always an in-between space. It's either the commute in the car, it could be a train, it could be a bus, it could be like walking down the stairs from your office to the kitchen. I mean, there is somewhere there's a shift in leaving one thing to the other. So the magic of accountability is often in that in between. I have a
Mm,
client who I had write a sign about losing weight by a certain date. I said, I know that we can do this. And I want you to jazz it up and I want you to put exclamation points. And he used a very particular naughty cuss word to motivate himself within this sign. And he sent me pictures because he's got the sign in his car, he's got it on his kitchen cabinets, and he's got it on the bathroom mirror. I
nice.
didn't know how far he'd go, but I love this because I knew that I can't be there all the time. And I know that you can fade into old habits so easily, not just you, but that's what we do as humans is we want to fade into the thing that we knew even though it wasn't great for us. So if you guys need to light up the in between to hold yourself accountable and to remember that you have something you want to do more than eat chocolate in the kitchen, standing up, thinking about the workout that you're not getting, is make
True
yourself a
story.
sign with dirty words on it
Yes.
and get that butt to the gym
Yeah.
or go for a
Yeah.
walk or whatever. Yeah.
The song that popped in my mind when you were saying that is "The Space Between" by Dave Matthews. Do you know that song? The
Yeah.
space between. It's like the space between our decisions, the space between like that time is so important, and it's there. You're so right. Like it can make or break your next set of choices, your next decision. Each choice begets a new choice. I
Mhm.
love the idea of like finding those spaces in your life that you can communicate with yourself from that like from like the place where you want to be, that optimal place, right?
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
in the car when you're driving, right? Or the commuting, or like when you're walking down your steps and or going to the bathroom, like those moments where you can really fall out of the plan. And so
Yeah.
I think that's really
Don't
wise.
lose
It's a great,
yourself. In high
yeah.
school, did you have a locker? Like
Oh
or
yes.
junior high?
Lockers, yes.
What did you have did you have pictures inside your locker?
Yeah, I'm sure I did. I'm trying to remember what I had pictures of. Yeah.
I had pictures
Oh
of
gosh.
beaches all over the world. I
Love
wanted to
that.
go, and one of them was
Love
St.
it.
Petersburg,
No
where
way!
I ended up
Yes.
right after I graduated high school. So, like,
Amazing.
there were
You
places
vision
that's
board.
what yes, that's what got me to go to the classes I hate. That's what got me to keep kinda, "I wanna go here," and I think it was so simple, if parents that have kids, like, there's a simple-mindedness to when we
Yeah.
were kids about, like,
Yeah.
we weren't worried about paying rent. We just wanted to go there, and
Yes.
that was kind of in my headspace is that locker, and that's what a lot of kids do. They wanna decorate their locker with stuff that's fun or cool or whatever, and
Right.
this is adult decorating our lockers
Yeah.
is, the space between or whatever it is,
Yeah.
and I tell this story because I want to get to how Kylie lit up her neighborhood and got them to run 40 miles collectively. So everybody take notes because
Yes.
this is how you light up the neighborhood.
The neighborhood. I mean, we had such a fun event yesterday. It was amazing. So, one of my neighbors and good friend, she was turning 40. Happy birthday, Abby. It was her 40th birthday and she's a runner. Like runner, she runs with her kids. Like I'm not a runner, so like we'll do what we call like the biker gang where I'll ride my bike with Indigo and we go down to this like little coffee shop like a couple miles away. So she'll run with her kids and I'll push Indy in the bike and then the kids like or not push, I ride her in the bike seat and then the kids will trade spots. So I'll take her son on the bike. And anyway, so we do a lot of we walk a lot with the kids. We run, we like take them out to the parks. We do stuff with the kids. So we're together a lot doing active things, just the two of us and or with some of the other moms and families in the neighborhood, which is kind of fun. And it's always we always have a good time. So for her 40th, she had this dream and this vision, talk about a vision of having a group relay somewhere that we could basically having like all of her friends together where she has like a running event with her friends. And so I was like, I love this so much. And we've got this beautiful neighborhood that we love to spend time in. Got big trees, so there's nice shade. And, of course, it's sunnier these days. So we decided, so I basically like helped to coordinate and plan this 40th relay birthday party. And so the goal was to do 40 miles throughout the morning. And every time somebody ran a mile, it counted as, we checked off a mile. So we had people at different various stages of running and, abilities. In fact, like myself and like two of my other friends, like we're not runners, but like we do other things, but just not running. I'm sure those of you listening can really relate. Like you either love running or maybe not so much.
Well, you even had a corgi on your team. So
Did. And my corgi, Allie, my 9-year-old corgi, she decided to join our team as well. And that girl did 2 miles. So we started but the thing was like, and to your point about the bringing people together, having the community, having the friends together, we had so much fun. We started off with like, I brought fruit, we had like a fruit table with like all different types of fruit so that people could stay hydrated. We had animal prints because that's like Abby's thing. So we did like animal prints. We had like animal print ears and like just made it really fun. One of my friends brought glitter, like body glitter. So we like glittered ourselves up and that was awesome. So, we all showed up. There was about 12 of us all together, plus the animals, plus the kids. So it was like 12 adults. And we ran the first mile together as a group. So that like checked off a large chunk right away, which was kind of nice. So we all kicked it off with a mile run. And we made a loop within the neighborhood so that we didn't have to go anywhere. We just got to be in our neighborhood. And then we just went off. And then like so the couples would run, friends would run. Like it was the kids were in the stroller. We would push them in the stroller. Actually Indigo ran the better part of a combined mile, like between two different runs. And then we just like it was just so much fun. We left literally being like, when can we do this again? Because we were motivating each other to your point. It's something hard. A lot of us hadn't, like I said, we're not runners. We're not comfortable running. So it was like really pushing me out of my comfort zone in terms of moving my body. And by that third mile, my body was really feeling it. Like I was feeling the joint issue. Like I had like some back pain and like, I was like, okay, my body's not used to this kind of intense
and
impact.
it wasn't 3 in a row, right? You had time, like you
No.
did
Yeah.
1 and you got to chill
1
out a
mile.
little.
Yep, exactly.
Okay.
And originally we were going to plan a half mile loop too, so that some people could do half mile loops, but we ended up just doing the full mile and it was actually great. It was fine. But that's another option, right? You could also break it down. You could do like a half a mile loop. So that way people who maybe need a little bit more break, maybe I would do like, I did 3 full mile loops, but maybe I would do 6 half mile loops the next time. And that way, I mean, my heart rate was up. I was sweating. I was breathing hard. Like the 3 things that matter when it comes to getting the exercise your body needs for that cardiovascular support. I hit all of those in 3, with those 3 broken up miles. Every time I started running, guess what happened? My heart rate went up. I started breathing harder. I started sweating. So like, you don't have to necessarily go out and just run 10 miles. Like I had a nice break in between. We had fruit, like hydration. It was such a great way to like set up an event. And first of all, we're celebrating somebody's birthday, which is always a good time, right? When you get your friends together to celebrate a party or celebrate a birthday. But we did it in a way that promoted activity. She's entering a new decade of her life. And of course, as women and talking about women's bodies, as we're aging, we want to approach that. I think most women want to approach it with as healthy a mindset as possible. Who how better to do that than starting it with, like, an active starting that new decade off with, like, a powerful activity. I know when I turned 40, funny enough, we were living in Costa Rica at the time, and I remember we had a CrossFit gym in our town, and I would go to the CrossFit gym, but I wouldn't work out at CrossFit. I was, like, very intimidated by it. Like, I was like, "I can't. I'm not gonna do it." But for my 40th birthday, I actually went to my very first CrossFit class on my 40th, and I was like, "I'm gonna do CrossFit this year. Like, that's gonna what I'm gonna do." And so, I think kicking off a new phase of life, a new season of life, a decade, right? Having that with strength and embodying something active that's gonna be good for your body and healthy for your short and long-term health, I can think of nothing better, really. It was very, very exciting to be a part of that, and, like, we had a blast, and then we went back to one of our other neighbors' house for a pool party, and we swam, and we played in the pool, and we had a great it was just a great day. Really
This is like
amazing.
where the meme, the feral 40s come from is because it could be feral 50s or feral 60s,
Yes.
whatever it might be, but I think it's funny when that meme just cracks me up
Yeah.
because it kinda comes back to just reaching an age where you're confident to do what you want.
Yeah.
And right, the confidence to do what you
Ask for
want
what you
because, like yeah, like, cake and cocktails sounds awesome too, but I would rather wake up with the soreness of 3 miles than because eventually how crappy you feel when you've realized, "I can't do the cocktails anymore," and, people
Yeah.
say, like, "I just can't be out late anymore," and I think, like, you can be out late, but being out late used to mean you're having, like, 6 drinks and you wake up and you feel like crap and you got a headache, and I think we're kinda over that. There's a lot of stories out there about, people not, really cutting back on alcohol and really choosing different substances and really getting into noticing, like, I don't like losing a day. Like, I don't wanna wake up tomorrow and feel cruddy until 6 PM and then be ready to go to bed again. So I think, you guys what you guys did was you played. You got someone turning 40. Is she the youngest in the neighborhood, by the way?
Well, actually, no, maybe. There might maybe. I don't know. I think no. We do have other younger neighbors for sure. We have
Sorry,
other
Abby, we're talking
40ths
about you, and I'm sure Abby's gonna be
approaching. No,
listening.
I think we do have other 40ths that will be approaching or 35ths even maybe coming up. So,
Okay.
in the
Oh,
upcoming
there's gonna be a
years.
lot more miles coming then, right?
Yes, and I think we may have just started a tradition, and it's funny because, I'm part of our neighborhood, we've talked like, I do a
Mhm.
lot within our community and our neighborhood, and within the city of St. Petersburg, they have, like, a whole initiative called Healthy St. Pete, and my mind is spinning about how do we get this type of an initiative into the neighborhoods too, from a community perspective, right? Like, how can I promote what we just
You get it
did
in the paper. You
within the
get it in the
city? Yeah,
paper.
write about it. Yeah,
This is where the
and
cheetah
then
shorts came from. It's gonna be cheetah shorts trending, hashtag
that's
cheetah
right.
shorts.
Cheetah shorts, shorty shorts. That was
Yep,
ours.
shorty
That's right.
that's
We
why we
forgot
brought
to
this
bring
up
that
in the
up.
beginning, everybody, because there was a particular gentleman in the neighborhood who wasn't clothed with much. And,
Shorty
only in
shorts.
Florida, only in
Ours
Florida.
is short, cheetah short. Yes, I had like a cheetah print. I got like a cheetah print, like sports top, that I could wear. And then he got these short shorts. So now we've got costumes for the next event that we've got. And we've got all the glitter, sparkle glitter. I mean, it was just, I felt like it was like a, like a Burning Man event,
Well,
a
I heard
fitness Burning
Pebbles and
Man.
Bam Bam. Pebbles and Bam Bam out of you
Oh
guys.
my gosh, it was really cute. Indy even wore her cheetah print jammies for the whole day. It was actually kind of chilly, funny enough, in the morning, so
Perfect then.
she was happy to run in her jammies, so I like cheetah print for her. It was just like a chef's kiss kinda day, like the kinda day where you're just like, "Yes, we hit all the things," right? We moved our bodies, we ate good food, we, had the social activity. What you were saying, it's like very blue zone. If you look at the check marks of the blue zones of what they do in community, that's a big part of the blue zone spirit, right? Is that the people who are living in these areas are in community and they're active, physically active in their communities, and they're getting a lot of support, and there's that love that comes from the relationships. And I can tell you it was a giant love fest yesterday. Like, we did have, like, we were all just cheering each other on. You can't help it but feel loving and excitement around cheering somebody else on. know, for those of you who have participated in sports in the past, like being cheered on and cheering other people on is just like it's just a very loving um feeling that comes up.
Well, I mean, hats off to Abby because I've never heard of anything like that before. Like 40 miles for my birthday. I think a lot of people would be like, "Are you kidding me?
Yeah.
What's that
And
supposed to mean?" But it adds
yeah.
up when you've got
Yeah.
a dozen people
Yeah.
in the mix,
Bring your friends in tow. Yeah.
and she got everybody off their butt on a Saturday.
Yes, she sure did. Yes. So she, I think, came in with the most number of miles clocked. Like she did 7, and then we kinda trickled down. Allie did 2. Allie the corgi, she
Ellie the
clocked 2
corgi.
miles, although I don't know if her miles count. They should have counted.
She did 42. 42.
42. We made it to 42. We gave her some bonus miles for Allie running. And, you know, that's the other thing, like, for when we think about the health of our pets, right? Like, she had the best day ever too. Allie and Abby were, like, just glowing.
Well, and a year ago, you didn't know where
Well,
Allie
that's true.
was gonna be. She
That's
had a
true.
hip that was all goofy, and look at her now.
She was 10 pounds heavier. She couldn't barely get up off the ground. She was definitely in a much, overall inflamed state. We have done a lot this year to help her reach her most thriving self, and she's 9. She's 9 old, running 2 miles yesterday. I mean, little corgi legs, and she's at her optimal weight. She's got a beautiful shape. She's got a beautiful coat of hair, and she's eating a lot more plants in her diet. And so we've really added in, and since we've been at the beginning of this year, we started adding more plant-based foods for her. And I'll tell you, everybody keeps saying she looks like a puppy. Like I keep getting that, and people have known her because she's been in this neighborhood for her whole life. So a lot of our neighbors know her, and they'll like, people are like, "Oh my God, she looks like she's a puppy. Like, how did this happen?" And I'm like, "Well, she's eating a lot more fiber these days. So
Well, the
good for everybody.
anti-inflammatory,
Good
right?
for
The
all bodies."
anti-inflammatory, it works on a gal no matter
Yeah,
how old she is. Look at
that's right.
Allie, right?
Thriving in her senior as she's approaching her senior dog years. I mean, and that's just it. Like, we do have she has an omnivorous diet, like I'd say at this point, which is, also that's what she was used to eating was a meat-based diet, so, like, we are going very gradually with her, adding in the plant foods, and she's doing great with it. She's handling it great, but we're going really slowly. We're really adding things one at a time. So, like, if you are listening, you're thinking of moving towards a plant-based approach with an animal, obviously, cats are not available for this, like, carnivores through and through, but dogs can actually really thrive on an omnivore diet or even a vegan diet. Some dogs are on a diet that is, 100% plant-based. So they even have, like, dog foods out there that are 100% plant-based dog foods
Yes, I
now.
saw one for the first time at
Yeah.
Petco, and I was like, "What
Yeah.
is this formula? Does this" it's a
Yeah.
dry food. This actually exists for cats. I was really curious. I don't believe that it
Mm,
does, but it
mm-mm.
is quite interesting because I think a lot of people have been through a breed of dog like labs, for example, in my family. They're so prone to blowing out an ACL. And everybody in my family already has blown out their ACL one way or another, it seems like. Me and my parents, my brothers actually have pretty healthy knees, but we've been through it. We had multiple dogs have hip or knee issues too. And I think a lot of people, they really do not want their dog to go through surgery.
Right.
And I think we often look at our pets and are like, it's easier to put them on a diet, or look at
Yep.
like the changes that they need to make less
Yep.
scraps, less licking the plate,
Yep.
knowing that you don't want them to go through a recovery period. I love that Allie is a good example of this little low to the ground, tiny little leg doggy who's, was 8 when she came to you guys, and look at what happens.
I mean, it is really miraculous to see her full like a year later now. I mean, it is very cool. And she's also, again, she's part of the community. Like, seriously, talk about like community love and support. She's gotten that. And I just really, I think that, the point of this whole conversation today is like kind of a little bit of like a palate cleanser of where we were last month and where we're going in the next month. But really, to talk about and highlight how to maybe find ways to bring activity into your like social network or into your family network, right? Like maybe, and here's the other thing I forgot to mention is that Abby's parents were here, and like while they weren't really excited to run, they walked. They walked the loop a couple times, so they were out walking with us. And so it doesn't have to necessarily be the full running thing. You could have just a walk run, combo deal. If you have family members that wouldn't maybe be apt to run or aren't physically able to run, they could walk. the laps, the routes.
Mhm.
And it's just like, so there's a lot of different ways you could break it down. And the way that we did it was like every time somebody would come in and finish a lap, they would put the tally mark down. So we would keep track of the miles that we did. And at the end, we really celebrated that we accomplished this thing together. It was very, very cool. And if you've never participated in a relay or something like that before, I have to say, it's just a lot of fun. There's a lot to gain again in your mindset, like bringing it back to mindset. You know, I hadn't really been thinking about running before, but now I'm kind of like, I mean, Cyrus and I had a great time. We'd get out there. We were running around with we were pushing her in the stroller, chit chatting with her the whole time. Allie's running with us. And I was like, I run a couple miles, a couple times a week. Like, is this going to hurt me? Actually, no, it's really not. Is it hard? Yes, it feels hard on my body right now, but that's because I'm not used to it. And I can do hard things, right? Again, mindset. Like, it wouldn't have been my first choice, but it got me out of the routine that I was in and got me trying something different on. And when it comes to like kind of that aging gracefully, I think having that open growth mindset is really going to help us live a more vital, more open-minded life in our next set of years, right? And I'm, as a 45-year-old woman today, the fact that I can get out there and try something new on is really exciting. I feel excited by that.
Your birthday is next, isn't it? July?
July. Yes.
Okay.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. Well, I already
Start
told Cyrus what
planning.
I want. Well, wait a second. I told him, I was like, if we did a pickleball tournament for my birthday and we could
Okay.
do, I know, but I know. And we'll also do a run. Maybe
All
sounds
the
like
th
46
well, I
miles,
love I
46
love that you
miles.
said, "Try it on." Like,
I'll
I'll
try.
try that on. Like, I
I'll
love
try that.
I want that to sync with people too, like, try it on because I often bring up, like, you've gotta get out of your space a little bit, even if you are an active person or if you do walk after your meals or whatever you kinda have built into your routine, is you gotta give your routine a little kick of salsa sometimes. You gotta throw some spice in there. You've gotta give it a little shift. Same
Yep.
deal with your meals, right? As mentioned, the
Yep.
salsa is you do have to shift things so that you don't get too used to it. It's not the boringness of it, but is this no longer enjoyable? You're just doing it to do it, is to see things in a little bit of a different light. So I love this whole bring it on. We're doing 40 miles for my 40th.
Yeah.
And that's that. And it almost didn't happen until the queen of the neighborhood shows up, or the planning queen.
Planning committee.
Planning committee shows up. Kylie, the planning committee
The
shows up
party
and says,
planning
no,
committee.
we're
Yeah.
doing this.
Oh, we are doing
We're
this.
doing
This is
this.
happening. Well,
Yeah.
and also, yeah, that reminds me of The Office, the show, the sitcom The Office, where they have like the party planning committee. Uh, I love that show. And the party planning committee scenes are often some of my favorite because it's like all the women together. It's just hilarious. Um, anyway, that it was, and it was a neighborhood effort. We got everyone came together with their piece of the puzzle, and that was really great to see too. Like, I love living in a place where if I want to, like, I've got people around me that are going to try things on with me, which is like great. Like, let's do this. Let's try it, and that helps with the being safety in numbers when it comes to doing something new is
Yeah.
often
Oh,
also
yeah.
very helpful, right? Like
For
you were saying before.
motive,
Yeah.
yeah, for motive for all the things. I think, Kylie, quite honestly, that is our phrase for 2025 for both of us is just try it on.
Yeah. That's right.
That's a good one for everybody. Just
I like
try it
it.
on. If someone
Yeah.
asks you to do something that you feel
Yeah.
a little bit like that challenges my confidence or that
Yeah.
challenges my ability,
Yeah.
or you immediately go into the space of, but I'm too old for that, or I'm not fit
Mhm.
enough for that, and
Mhm.
you're into judgment immediately. Is now you gotta think, just try it on. I'm gonna have to put that now where I can see it because I'm not gonna tell anybody what I had as a cool opportunity come to me yesterday until it's legit. I'm not talking about
Okay.
till it's legit,
When the
but I have something
planning
very
phase is here.
right. I have a
Yes.
very exciting thing to look forward to in the fall
Yeah.
probably, and I might have to have the just try it on. Quit being
Just
a
try it on.
chicken. Don't be a chicken.
You've got this.
Do the thing.
Yeah. I love it. Ooh, goosebumps. That's
Feral
right.
40s.
2025. That's right. Feral 40s, just try it on. We'll see how it fits.
And if it doesn't fit, whatever. Do
Yeah,
something else.
try something different. Yeah, try on the next thing. Okay, I love this. I love that we had an opportunity to have a sort of a motivation conversation and like get people thinking a little bit like we were talking, it's springtime. Maybe there's something that you've been wanting to try on for a little bit. Maybe whether, maybe it's a new outfit, maybe it's a new fitness opportunity or something different in your routine. So this is your invitation, and we'd love to hear how you want to challenge yourself in the upcoming weeks. And if you want to drop us a line, you can email us either Kylie at greenglowlifestyle.com or Lauren at greenglowlifestyle.com. We want to hear from you. And in the meantime, just try something new, and we'll be back next week with
Mm.
our favorite F word. We're going to be bringing all of the fiber to you. We're going
Well,
to talk all about fiber.
I mean, we feral 40s a lot today. So there's a lot of Fs out there. And
Lots of F words.
you know which first we didn't mention was Indigo got her first haircut.
First haircut.
So there was a lot this week, a lot of cool stuff this week.
A
So
lot
you
of
guys follow
changes.
suit, join us and
That's right.
do
She
do
was very
something.
courageous for her first haircut on the new moon with like just great energy around her. We had so much fun, and she was nervous at first. And then I said, guess what? Now this isn't new. You've had a couple snips, so now you're an expert. And she looked at me and she goes, oh, I'm ready to sit in the chair by myself. So remember, it's only new the very first step you take, the very first time you try it. After that, you're an expert. You're a pro.
Yeah, it's your thing. It could be your thing. It could
Could
become
be.
your
Could be.
thing.
One step at a time.
All right, there's stuff to look forward to, no matter
It's
what.
so true. It's so true. Oh my gosh. Well, have a fabulous rest of your Sunday. And
Thank you.
if you're out there listening, enjoy your day, and we'll see you next week.
All right, everybody, have
Thanks,
fun.
Lauren.